session, but the few games that I did get in, there was just like different things I might.
So what kind of things exactly?
It was mostly just like feeling like I can't keep up with the healing, or just getting like dived a lot. Like say a Tracer is always on my case, or a Genji
hmm
is always on my case. I think I had a match like that where there was just a Genji that just wouldn't leave me alone, and it's like I guess the other thing is I don't know how to deal when I get like dived. Like me being a support, I don't know like what to do when, like, say I get a Genji or a Tracer on me.
I see. Okay, so it's just knowing what to do, kind of deal with that overall. Okay. Do you still get this? We kind of talked about somewhat of anxiety on if you, yeah, anxiety on playing competitive. Whenever it's something you mentioned, whenever you've been trying to play competitive, it has been just hard for you mentally. Did you work on that? Did you apply to a few things from what we suggested in the previous session?
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of things?
It was mostly just, relaxing and focusing. Like, I saw your thing on Reddit, which was, like, a few helpful things,
hmm
and, I don't know, maybe this week I can maybe try doing competitive, maybe? That might be a goal maybe this week. At
hmm
least do, like, the 10, what is it where you do the 10 matches to find your rank kinda thing?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You usually 10 is something you want to start with. Once you get to 50 matches, this is where you can see the most accurate rank, in my opinion, most of the time at least. So just play 50 in the long term should be quite a good goal. But yeah, what kind of concepts you did apply exactly? Maybe from that article, for example, especially. What are the things you've been trying to do?
Uh Probably, like, I saw one thing was, like, better nutrition, I think I worked on that a little bit.
Nice. Okay. Did it? Well, I think this one is quite long-term, actually. Yeah, this is something what helps. Uh-huh. Is there anything else?
That was about it.
I see. I see. Later, you can again use this as a source, just try to apply a few details. If you're able to implement this every week, your confidence is going to increase. But I think we can, because we wanted to go over this kind of this part, yeah, confidence playing competitive. I can share a few tools with you. I think one of the most important, and this is something you can use whenever you want, is just called the SOT model. It might be helpful. I usually use it with the even with the teams and just in one-on-one sessions whenever there's a really high pressure, just something you can use as a player. I think, do you want to go over this tool potentially too?
Sure.
Okay, so let's do this first. Let's spend maybe around 20-30 minutes on this, and we're also gonna spend some minutes on your gameplay, especially the one thing you mentioned, dealing with the dive. Yeah, what do you need to do to just play versus divers? I think should be good. Okay, I'm just gonna screen share, and I'm gonna screen share this board with you. One moment. Okay, here we go. Screen one. Okay, let me know if you see the stream just fine.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna insert your name there. Okay, so I'll be able to find this later, those notes later. But anyway, I'm gonna send those notes to you later as well, so it should be good. Okay, what you can be doing to increase your confidence potentially, this is just common tool, is try to think about your thoughts and think about the outcomes, whatever you get. And the first thing is just kind of identify what the problem is. This is just going through everything, whatever you get about the situation. So we usually start with something like a fact, and the fact is something you cannot change. Yeah, maybe it's enemy Genji diving you, maybe it's enemy Tracer, maybe it's just the enemies. It's just quite frustrating to play against them, or it might be also you dealing with difficult teammates. Yeah, they're being quite annoying. Maybe it's just, it can be anything. Okay, and fact here is just something you cannot change. What you get after is your thought about the situation. After that, you get certain feeling, and then you get certain action. You get to do certain actions because you, yeah, you went through all of this, and after you've done certain actions, you get a result. Okay, so maybe let's go through this actually. Whatever the fact been kind of frustrating for you, and you maybe notice that your confidence dropped for whatever reason. What is that fact you've been facing, but just potentially in competitive or outside of the competitive? Is there
Um,
anything? Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Like, um, it's probably just like my lack of skill, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's put it this way, and this is okay. Again, maybe we are not as skilled. This is fine. Okay, this is something we can deal with, right?
Right.
And once we get this certain fact, we're not as skilled. What is usual thought you get about this?
Um, I don't think there's like really a thought. I think I just go from fact to feeling,
Hmm.
maybe.
But what do you think? What do you tell yourself? So I'm not as skilled, but then is that, well? Let's put it this way, okay? Because I think this is might be an exact thought. Yeah, like I'm not as skilled, but what? What kind of fact triggers that? Do you just launch the game and or maybe play a few games and then you think that, or yeah, what is
Well,
that?
it's usually like after a few games, like say if I'm on like a losing streak or
Hmm.
something, like maybe it's like 6 games on a losing streak and like nothing really, I mean, it's me in the same game, so it's usually like maybe I'm losing 6 games because of me kind of thing.
Mm. Mm. Well, it's the part. It can be the part, but it's not 100% all about you, of course. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but that can be the part. That's fine. So, see, once you identify the fact, this is something you overall cannot change. Yeah, let's put it this way. Yeah, the past. Yeah, if you did lost 2 3 games, you can change the past. So this is the fact. Yeah, if you can change, if you can change it, then what matters is what kind of thoughts you get after. And in your case, we're just getting this kind of thought. So I'm not. Yeah, let's put it this way. I'm not as skilled. This is fine. This can happen. And what do you get as a feeling here? Is that
It's usually the
frustration?
frustration, yeah.
Yeah, so frustration in your case. That is okay. That is okay as well, again, common. And after, what matters is what do you do with actions usually? Once you're frustrated, how it affects your actions, what do you do usually? It can be outside of the
Um,
game, something as well.
it's more, it's hard to describe, like, it's more like I start like playing like maybe like I might change it so like say if I'm playing with Life Weaver, I maybe go Brig and play more aggressively, maybe. Like
Okay.
I think it just changes my play style to a more aggressive
Hmm.
play style.
Okay. Okay. Play more aggressive. Let's put it this way. Sure. Is there anything else?
Um, I think that's it.
That's it. Do you notice you do certain actions? Maybe just maybe you sit in a certain way. Maybe you also, I don't know, just yeah. It can be anything in real life as well. Do you notice maybe your it might be something what's common that your aim might be tense, like your arms might be tense or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, definitely that. I think I might be a little bit more tense as I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I also mentioned in the article as well. A lot of times that is the case. It might be one of this kind of symptoms there because you tensed, and all of this adds up. It just becomes much difficult for you to process and play properly. This is something you can solve. Okay, Once you feel
I also
tense,
think
hmm
oh, sorry.
it's
I
okay.
was gonna say also I think I get, more, like, annoyed by the other player, like, say if, like the Genji or the Tracer, I just, like,
Mm,
I get, like, mad at them because 'cause they're, like I think in my mind they're, like, obsessed with me or something, like, they just won't leave me alone kinda thing, so,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think there's just, like, annoyance towards, like, the other player. I mean, they were probably just playing the game, and it's like, I think I take it personally almost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. I see. This makes sense to me. I'm just gonna put this as a side note here, yeah, because for now we're just gonna deal with this first. But this is important, yeah. Like we focus on Genji Tracer. Like let's say they shoot me, I take it personally. Let's put it this way. I think why not? Might be important thought for us. We can get to it later. Get back to it. Now, about this though, once you feel like you play more aggressive and maybe there's more tension, what kind of result you usually getting? What is the outcome of all of it? Do you lose more
Um,
games? Is there something else? Yeah.
Sometimes I still lose, but, I mean, there's this, like maybe just, like, me changing the play style maybe helps, like I guess, like, in some cases, like, playing, like, Life Weaver might not be the best case, or,
Mm,
like, maybe it's better, like, on some maps that, like, Brig is a better maybe that's the reason is I'm not picking the right hero for the right, I guess, objective.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So just let's put it this way: there's that the swaps are happening, necessary or or unnecessary. We can take a look, but more frequent swaps usually it's a signal that something. Usually something's wrong, especially it's if at your level we're thinking about this swap as the first kind of outcome. This is not the best because you want to first put more emphasis on your performance because this is what matters the most. If you're trying to swap, this is more of a, like a signal that maybe you're trying to avoid or like solve the situation a different way, like because you swapped to other hero might work better. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if the swap's been necessary. But a lot of times at your level, I would be against it actually. I would just I would pick something like 1 2 potential characters, make sure you play them exclusively, and swap depending on the strengths, depending on if situation allows you. So it's not again we gonna be not thinking about the enemy team exactly what they play and such, but we're gonna be more thinking about your strengths, thinking about what your composition allows you to do, what map allows you to do as well, and pick this character which actually gonna be suitable. This is general idea. We'll look into that later though, but yeah. So swaps are happening, maybe there's something else, but you can recognize. Yeah, the main point of all of this is that because you process your thoughts, you process what the fact is triggering certain thought and feeling, this way it makes it much easier. So this way, this exercise you can be doing it by yourself, and it's good to do it multiple times to just go through everything so you can identify, and because you write it down it makes it easy for you to fix later, yeah, because you can change all of this. Okay, so swaps, yeah, maybe let's address this first, okay, because your second step is gonna be is doing this model backwards. This is thought model, you're just gonna be doing this backwards and want to be starting with again result, but you just want to think about what is that more useful, maybe more, yeah, let's say useful thought you can think about and replace it with the, yeah, you replace useful thought, replace less useful thought with more useful by doing the second step. So we're gonna start with the result again. So if you're thinking about maybe the swaps are not as effective, for example, yeah, this is just my suggestion, but you can think about it later. Maybe you can be thinking about as the good outcome, as a good result for you is why not to stick to one character? Yeah, like think how can I play 1 2 characters you're comfortable with, yeah, and I think the character's been what you've been playing Kiri most of the time, if I'm being
It's
correct.
mostly for support carry, Brig. I think those are my main two for support.
Yeah, so it can be this, yeah. So think how you can stick to those characters because you enjoy playing those, yeah. Think how can I stick to Kiri, Brig. This is fine, okay. And yeah, what do you think about this result? Is it kind of good result for you, or do you want to maybe put something else in here? What would be the actual good result for you at the end? Maybe instead of swapping, maybe there's something else you want to do.
I think that would be good.
Yeah, maybe this is as a start again, because you always break it down this one specific thought, one this specific scenario, but later maybe if you find something what's more annoying or maybe anything you want to change as a result, you can use this model and put it in here. Okay, so let's say we want this as a good outcome. Now, what you will be doing with your actions to make sure you have this result in a way. So instead of maybe playing more aggro, staying tensed, what can you be doing?
Um, Instead, I could probably just like I know with Kiri, she's more evasive, so maybe just like learn how to like evade better, I guess.
So just what do you mean by way to mean escape better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna put it this way: learn this X skill. It just can be something X skill. It can be, in your case, example, how to escape. Okay. This is great. So see what you do with this. You're actually changing your actions to what you can control now. And this is really important. If you remember those previous notes there, focus on engage it, race it, they shoot me, we take it personally. But if you actually focus on what you think and what you can do, this always makes it much easier, and it's gonna be decreasing your anxiety and increasing your confidence by a big margin. So something to start with. Yeah, maybe I learned certain skill. This is one. What about tense part? How do you, yeah, how how you can get less tense potentially? What is that you can be doing?
Um, Maybe take a minute between matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually like after a match ends, I like instantly requeue.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if I'm getting like maybe too like annoyed, maybe just take a minute in between.
Okay, so it can be, yeah, take breaks between games. You have to be disciplined about it. Yeah, you have to be setting a limit to yourself. Maybe, yeah, take breaks between games, but also maybe my suggestion. This is common. Take breaks. So this is gonna be the slash. Yeah, let's do slash. Take breaks after every 2-3 losses, because this what's been affecting you quite a lot. This is what you mentioned. I lost 2-3 games. What I do after? You probably keep playing, and this is how the most of the players do. Maybe you don't, but again, if you're more disciplined, you take breaks exactly after every 2-3 losses. You recharge your mental no matter what. Sometimes it feels like you can play more and more, but it's a lot of times it's this mindset trap. It's just it might feel like you do something good, but usually you just be more disciplined anyway. Take the time, do something else. And with breaks, I suggest try to do something outside of the workspace. Yeah, just make sure you do activities not related to PC. Okay, maybe you go for outside walk. Maybe it's just something else, like talk to your friend. Maybe you can also do just study or something. That does matter. Yeah, you can find this activity whatever you prefer. So do activities not related to PC, or like Overwatch in general. Yeah, like to Overwatch. To let's say this. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. So it's this, and it's just my suggestions, but there's can be more. Yeah, maybe with taking breaks, anything else comes to mind? What can you do besides that to feel less tense potentially?
I think those are mostly it.
So mostly
I know
it.
I see some people do like custom games, like, but
Mhm,
I'm usually not in like queue that long to like do
mhm,
custom games.
mhm.
I mean, with quick play, the queues are pretty short, so
Are you doing warm up currently? The one I suggested before the.
I've started to get in the habit of like doing that vac stuff
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, this can also help with, because this is a routine. You can set your confidence. You can increase it this way. I think something, yeah, something to keep an eye on. Okay, and there might be also other things. Yeah, it's definitely maybe something you can do in a match. As an example, it's proper breathing. This is what I call the lazy breathing, for example, because you don't have anything else to do, because you cannot just step out of the PC. You can just simply inhale, exhale, read it slowly, and this can help you to just decrease your anxiety, because when you feel tensed, your heart rate is increased. So this is something. If you slow down your breath, because you're decreasing your heart rate, you will feel less tensed as well. Something else, something to do. Maybe some bad event happens. Again, you can just really deeply inhale and then exhale. Should be okay. Yeah, this is what most players I coach do. For example, in situations under pressure, quite good too. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense too?
Yes.
Okay. I think, yeah, sure. You can add maybe even more details here, but I think for now this is good enough. Maybe if you're gonna have any questions about all of this, maybe any suggestions you want to hear what to add in here, you will be able to ask those later. But yeah, to do those actions, what's really important? What is that feeling we need to have potentially instead of frustration? What that feeling which can support you doing all of these actions there?
Uh, just a clearer mind.
Mm, how do you describe it with the feeling? Clear mind? Is it like being calm?
Yeah,
Yep. So like
that would
staying
work.
staying staying calm. Yep. This is how you describe it. Always come up with a feeling or something. I know this is more of a psychology thing, but it makes it easy because you process all of this. Is just um, makes it easy for you to understand what all of that is about. Okay, feeling calm, and now what's going to be important is your thought. If you want to feel calm, what kind of thought will allow you to do that potentially? What should you be thinking?
Um, just positive, like
Um, how do you
positivity.
put it? Because this is a little bit too general, right? But this statement, "I'm not as skilled." What can you? Uh, yeah, what can you
Um,
think instead? Maybe.
I'm improving.
Mm-hmm. So I'm improving. Improving at what?
Uh, maybe like escaping the flanks.
Yeah. Let's say this. This is good. So see again, you instead of also phrasing it in a negative way, like you said, okay, I'm not as skilled. You actually solving this problem. Yeah, you can say, okay, this is fine. Maybe I'm not a skill, but what do I do? Yeah, find something positive, the positive statement you can do, and it's I'm improving at the X skill. So no matter what happens, you still might be feeling calm and do all of these actions. And this is what matters. So instead of maybe keeping an eye on the Genji, like this note, yeah, focusing the Genji tracer, they shoot me, and you take it personally. So you take it personally. Instead of this, you will think about your play. So we can again mention this. Yeah, this is note. This has been our problem. To always solve any of this, most of the time you just need to come up with something what's under your control. Okay, so this is gonna be solution. Think what is under your control, and come up with it. Yeah, come up with what you need to fix. Mm-hmm. Honestly, this is what most players struggle with, especially in the big matches. They struggle with a lot of anxiety, and what's common, a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety. What's common about all of it is that they channel their focus. They tend to think about what their teammates think of them. They tend to think about what the enemy is gonna do. But whenever you channel your own focus to your own feelings and thoughts, like we did here, this makes it much easier for you to
Yeah.
do something, okay? Because you're the one who in control. You cannot control the others. You cannot control what they do. Okay, so this is how I would put it. This thought model, again, quickly going over this is just first process is really make sure you understand. Yeah, this first step is just being comfortable with whatever feelings or thoughts, whatever the actions you do, you get. This is fine. You're like, this is important. Let me just maybe as a I don't know where to put it. Oh, maybe actually let's use this pen. Okay, so note. Yep, note. I you want to be okay with this? Let's say like I wanna be okay. Sorry, okay with all of this model here. The second step is just coming up with solutions. That is it. Try to do the thought model maybe every week, maybe before every game session, because whatever you think or feel, it's a habit, really. It's just gonna take time, maybe months of work, but the more you do it, it's like exercising in a gym. If I go to the gym every week, it's inevitable muscle is gonna build up, or it's just like water sharpens the stone. I don't know, like this analogy, with every drop the stone is going to be sharper, and this is the same thing. You're just trying to build the habit. It's not just click and change, but it's going to take time. Treat it this way. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so this is what I would do. Do you have any questions about all of this here?
No, but you said something like a few minutes ago,
Mm-hmm.
about like what others would think of me. I think that's the other reason why I'm kind of like scared to get into camp, is
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't want to deal with like the teammates like being angry with me because I know they want to win
Mm-hmm.
and everything, but I don't want to be like the reason they're like losing as well. Like I feel like I would get the blame for the loses.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we go back to it. Yeah, the problem is, we think about something outside of our control. Yeah, this is common. Yeah, you might think about, so example, teammates. It might be also enemies. Yeah, to like simplify. But again, how to solve this? Instead of thinking about your teammates, what can you be doing? Can you change your focus, channel your focus towards what you accomplish out of all of this?
Yes.
Yeah. And so see again, if there's a problem with the teammates, again, use the SWOT model. So the fact, yeah. It can be something like, again, we lost 2 3 games, you get those thoughts that your teammates think something about you, and this is fine, really. This is you know, everyone. Let's put it this way: you being put in the games at equal skill level. Your goal is to just not be perfect or something. You just be 1% better with every game, or maybe 1% better, not necessarily with every game, but just in a week or so. If you do, then you're gonna climb. It's not like you're gonna be ruining somebody's day. They're they in this rank not because of you or something. It's just because of the certain skills. If they have certain skills like XYZ, they improve it, then they climb, and this is the same goes about you. So you just need to focus on improving at certain skills. And the best environment for you to improve is competitive most of the time. This is what I would say. Try to focus on playing competitive as much as possible. Well, obviously in your case, just again start with 1 2 games, but you have to start for the faster improvement. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. And maybe to come up something with something, what do you need to work on? We can take a look at one of few games and yeah, see what we can learn from it. Maybe okay, actually about this here, if you ever get the problem with the teammates, I also think just as a important note, you can mute the chat if it's ever affecting you. Mute the chat, just leave the chat. This is also okay. Something I thought about, but that's it. Mm, Again, the main work is gonna be under what's in your control. Right. Okay. Any more questions about this thought model? Yeah. Any of this?
No.
No questions. Okay. So I'm just gonna screenshot this, and I'm gonna send it to you in here. Right. Okay. Just one moment. Okay, and maybe prepare the games, prepare the codes you want me to look at then. What kind of game you want me to see? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent all those notes. Those gonna be in the summary now. There's a screenshot format. You can just click on this. It's gonna be easy to access. So yeah, it should be all good. Okay, and I'm also gonna write down for this. Try to do this sort model before each game session. Again, you will have to do your own writing. You just make sure you maybe use your own notes, write down whatever you feel, whatever you think, and try to come up with the solutions. This is it. Okay. So do you have a game we can take a look at as well with you?
I think I sent you one from a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take, yeah, let's see. Okay. This one can be good. Hmm.
I don't think I have anything like too recent. Yesterday I played a lot of Mystery Heroes with friends, so I think a lot of like my recent stuff is just
Right.
Mystery Hero stuff.
Right, and you remember the point about it as well. Try to channel your focus towards this exact hero pool you wanna practice. Mystery Heroes, this is where it's gonna be really difficult for you to climb the ranks if your goal is to just uh get get higher. Yeah, like get higher the ranks eventually. I would just focus on, in your case, one character is enough. Honestly, one character might be enough. Getting familiar with all the characters matters, but I think at your level, you probably already did, as far as I understand, especially with all this play mystery heroes and such. You should be familiar with most of the characters, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in your case, you just probably channel your focus towards just more playtime on a certain character, and this is you. Yeah, this is you as a Kyria.
Yes.
Okay, let's see, and a lot of what we're gonna say, a lot of what we're gonna mention is really something to do with your proactivity, to not get dived, or like to not, yeah, like to avoid something. You usually need to do something by yourself, because if you just kind of sit and shoot and maybe playing too passive, this is gonna be pretty difficult to win the match. We'll see what you're doing here exactly, but okay, let's, with your thoughts, yeah, like maybe use this as a general idea. If I want to be more proactive as a Curie, what you could be looking for right away? Is there anything specific you want to do, maybe? What, any thoughts?
Um, for this moment, no. I think it usually like I just
Hmm.
like play like just like the healer until like maybe they peek out more.
Right,
Like say
right.
if like they peek out of the behind that taxi, I
Mm-hmm.
might just like throw a little
Mm-hmm.
kunai in that direction maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's think about use a support role. What is your job fundamentally? What are you looking to do?
Keep everyone else alive.
Then this is where it's fundamentally wrong. See, like in the game like Overwatch, to keep everybody alive, it, well, okay, let's put it this way. Um it can be right if you do it in the correct way, if you're keeping everybody alive, but what most people mean by it is they are trying to heal. And this is what I assume you also think about too. Yeah, like trying to prioritize the healing on your teammates a little bit more, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
healing first, and then if
Right.
everyone looks good, then maybe I'll
Yep.
start like doing a little DPS.
Right. Right, exactly. So it's just we heal the teammates, heal your team, and then do damage. And this is something what you're doing. Okay. Now, what is that variable you control? Basically, like,
Uh,
can you control your teammates? I guess this is my question.
Well, sometimes it gets hard, like, if they get out of position,
Mm-hmm.
like, um, I don't know who it is up there in that subway, but say, like, someone's up there, like, everyone's, like, scattered right now, so it might be a little bit hard when people start scattering.
Right. Right.
I think that's how mostly this match was, like, everyone was separated, and I had a hard time, like, "Who do I heal?" Everyone's, like, away from each other.
Right. Exactly. 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 So see, our idea is, and this is what we mentioned in SWOT model, is channel your focus towards what you cannot control, towards what you are controlling. And your teammates, you cannot control their mouse and keyboards, you cannot play for them, and sometimes you cannot control if they're feeding, if they're going really after somebody, like really far. So your focus should be what you controlling, right? And as a
Right.
Kiri, if you are the one in control first, if you need to put more attention towards it, so it will be, instead of, you just need to switch, instead of thinking about healing, in your case, your teammates, because you can control them, you need to be thinking about the damage first and then healing. Okay, how you would go about that then? Is there anything you can do to make sure you're the one in control first?
Um, that's a good question.
Because this is really important. That's what the most players struggle with. If you start healing your teammates, you can control them. So there's no way you win the matches in the long term. That's what I mean. Yeah, like whenever you notice that something is not in your control, yet the first emphasis is on something what's not under your control that much. Maybe trying to communicate, yeah, like trying to tell them what to do. Maybe it's just, again, with the healing as well. Something is wrong usually, right? So what you can do to apply more pressure, yeah, maybe even on this map, is there's, and I think we came up with the suggestion before, is that we wanted to look at your position. Is there something you could be doing with your position right away to apply more pressure right away on the enemy team?
Um, maybe get where the Reaper is at, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. I like the thought process. I like the idea. And see, because you get to this position, you get to shoot first. Okay, you get to shoot the enemy first. And why it's important also from in-game perspective to actually apply pressure. So it's not just from the thought model kind of mentality perspective. You're not only thinking about what's under control, but also thinking about the damage is the main source of your team survivability, because you do apply pressure on somebody. If you shoot somebody, the enemy is gonna hide, and guess what? Your team is gonna take less damage because of it. Yeah, if I shoot something like enemy Reaper, he's not gonna shoot maybe like my diva. Yeah, if I shoot this Justin on the enemy team, they're gonna do less. And this is what Overwatch is more about. The damage output in the game is always higher than healing output. So your focus should be always on dealing damage first. It should always be on shooting and then healing. Our expectations with all of this is just, so because I mentioned damage and then heal after, but when to heal is just simply for you. It's gonna be when somebody is critical. We'll get in more details about it later. There are much more nuances, but I think this is good general rule of thumb for now. So you just do damage and only heal when someone is critical, and this makes it so much easier for you to control the map. Because see now what's gonna happen. What if the sweeper goes in really too early or something, or like this diva flies in, and because you're not applying pressure, you're not applying damage, you're not paying attention to what's under your control, your team might lose this resources war. That's really important. So you see, you just kind of stuck healing there. This is the enemy diva. You start shooting, but this is good. Yeah, this is good as general damage, but is that a good position for you to comfortably shoot something? Yeah, like with this range, is that a position you want to be at to apply active pressure on the enemy team?
Uh,
Hmm.
maybe I could've gone closer? I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Again, be more proactive. Usually with projectiles, it's not as comfortable to shoot from this far range. I think you need to have an idea of making sure you're trying to take those more short range angles, and maybe being closer to your diva, maybe even Reaper actually. And because you got your escape, you got your shift, you always use it as a trade of as a trade of the enemy resources. Yeah, if they use something, maybe the enemies they use bubble, they use echo bombs or like echo beam. You can always escape. So this is quite important for you. Okay, I think I maybe can just show you this. There are a few examples of what I mentioned on the Kiri. Maybe because we just talked about this, how you need to apply this, making sure you at the short sideline. Let me find you an example. Okay, so this is this is might be good one. Let me take a look. I'm just finding good example there. Yeah, I think maybe something like here-ish.
Perfectly timed shoot.
There's been a video. I think there's another coach, but still the ideas are the same there about the angles. It's just when we doing something, you will notice as a Kiri, a lot of times you will take more shorter sidelines. You will take more short angles. And this game actually, you'll see right away. This is RuPaul. He is playing in he's playing professional team there, and they're taking an angle with the tracer right away, and this gets them to short a sideline. This gets them to shoot enemies first and apply pressure. Just in case, like if there's somebody who shows up, they can apply a little damage, and later, if there's gonna be someone's critical, they can always go back to the enemy and starting to heal them. Or if they're in a danger as well, they can do that, and you can see there, they're gonna eventually try to TP out to the angle. This is what you need to look for a little bit more. Or maybe there's something like maybe the other content creator. Maybe we can use this as an example. Maybe not the most accurate of what you need to do, but this is still can be a good one as well. Is for example this guy here. Okay, let me just do this first. Okay, just sometimes takes the time to download all of this. Okay, so this guy, as an example, they are starting the pressure, getting to the short range sideline, and applying damage is the first priority, controlling the map, and then if something happens, they can always escape, right? They can always escape, and maybe it's not the most ideal with how they use cover there. They've been a little bit out in the open, but still, this is something you can start with first. You're thinking about how do you take the shorter sideline on the enemy and apply pressure. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Let's watch more of it. The first example actually been a little bit longer sideline there was the one, the first example I showed, but this can also work. You will notice as a Kiri you will be more using short to mid-range sidelines. Not too short, but this is really, really long in this case. Yeah, so in this example, it could be somewhere over here, maybe even staying on this angle with the Reaper, just short to mid sideline. This is your comfortable range most of the time. So we die eventually, but it's okay. Let's see what we can do in the next map there. Yeah, so what's your thoughts? You taking this position on the right side. What do you think about it? Is it a good position for you to start with?
I think it's hard to like maybe put pressure on the other team
Mhm.
from that little side.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's like 3 other people on that side. So I figured it's like we're in a group,
Right.
might be easier.
Yeah. Well, it can be. It can be sometimes. It's just what I would focus on with your position maybe is try to think about the area you're trying to control, and because you got mobility, try to abuse that a little bit more. So not only we gonna be focusing on the range, making sure you have the more short to mid-range sightline, but also try to take somewhat of an off angle, usually, at least at this level. Just practice this. Yeah, make sure you're able to comfortably do that. What off angle is, it's a position away from your main core. So let's say your main core stays at the position A, most of your team stays at the position A, you can be taking this position at B. Yeah, you can be just going somewhere else and trying to apply pressure from different side of the map. What it allows you to do is control the area better, because you split enemies' resources. You split them looking into two directions. Yeah, or maybe something like Winston. They again cannot jump on two angles at the same time. It's gonna be hard for them to apply pressure on everybody. And it goes about everyone there. And maybe even in the first fight, yeah, the idea was off angle. Why staying with the Reaper could be really good, because this is again an off angle in the area where you doing something. So see, if you've been here, you're gonna be away from your main core, which is kind of most of your team is kind of sitting in this direction. This is, let's call this A direction, and this is B direction. Yeah, sitting with the Reaper would be better because you make the enemies to look around and split the attention. Does it make sense
You
to
know,
you?
it's funny, I do a lot of that when I play tank. I'm always the one, like, poking from the side almost,
Mhm.
like, I play a lot of Wrecking Ball when I play tank, and I'm usually, like, the one, like, off on the side, like, making them, like, turn around or something.
Exactly, and this is what
So I
you.
could probably be doing that as Kiriko as well.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I would definitely do more. And we could see even in this first example, this RuPaul, they're gonna take an angle, and because they go all the way right there, they're gonna split the enemy's attention. And because some of the enemy members might pay attention to them, maybe there's a Mata shooting, maybe there's a Lucio, this splits enemy attention, and this is quite nice. So even this guy there, what they've been doing with their position, again, they taken position away from their core. Again, they slightly too much in the open, in my opinion. They could be using cover better, but see, the same idea. This guy said A, this is position B, apply pressure from the angle on this off angle, yeah, and splitting the enemy's attention this way. Fire goes to this guy, so the rest of his team can do more, potentially, yeah. This is really important. Of course, timing the pressure is quite crucial there, but for now, we just apply those ideas. Yeah, making sure you're able to do off angle, shorter sideline. You see where we at now. Yeah, this is really uncomfortable. If you're really far, you could be much closer, and then if something goes wrong, you can always escape. You can always escape as your shift. Yeah, again, be more proactive instead of waiting for the enemies to pressure you. Like if you're being annoyed at something like divers pressuring you. Yeah, it can be Genji, Echo. Instead of waiting for them to pressure you, pressure them first. Really, just go in, pressure them. If they do answer with their own pressure, then you can always escape. You can always go somewhere else. Okay, do you have any questions about all of it so far?
No.
Okay. So this fight is over, and let's see what our position can be next.
I think right about now is when I'm constantly, like, getting the Symmetra is constantly going after me, so I think
Exactly.
this is where, like, I get the frustration from the Symmetra.
Exactly. So again, the same solution. Proactive position. What you should be looking for. Where should you go right away? What is that angle you should be choosing? Short range and off angle. What's your thoughts?
Um, See, that's a hard question because, like, with Symmetra, they can really, like, teleport from anywhere, and I might not even realize it, and
Hmm.
I think the same with, like, Genji, it's like, sometimes they come out of nowhere and, like, catch me off guard.
Yeah, but you see, you cannot just wait for that pressure, right? You need to set up your own pressure, as you mentioned, yeah? And this here, we're just kind of sitting there and healing, waiting for the pressure to happen. You see, there's a problem, right?
So I could probably just move in closer and start, like, maybe
Mm-hmm.
shooting at them.
Yeah, sure. Is there an angle you want to choose? What do you think would be better position for you to
Uh,
choose?
Probably more where Tuna, the Farah, is at,
Maybe,
maybe.
maybe. But again, abusing the fact that you have mobility. Can you go even deeper? Can you go with something like
Uh,
this guy or this guy even?
Probably get in like where like the diva is at, maybe.
Sure, it can be. I think even why not to go with the Reaper? Why not to do that and split the enemy's attention? You fight for the same area with your team, right? So why not to do it from a back there? Uh-huh. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So this is the idea. You trying to take those more this is gonna be a term for you. You can be taking those more 180 angles. When your team starts at A, you can start at B, and this is gonna be this 180 angle to split the enemy's attention. Try to do that more.
So, like, instead of being like a group of three, I should be like more like a group of two. Like, always, like, maybe,
Mhm.
like, if say there's like like, always reduce the group by one and go to where there's less of, is what you mean?
Uh, yeah, sort of. The off angle idea is just want to see where the main pressure comes from. You want to see where your main core is. Usually, your main core is gonna be stuck on the direction of where the point is moving. So, like here, this is position A. Mostly your core is gonna be around here. Is where you expect most of your people to be. So you can just position 180 from that position. So instead of being at A, I can be staying at B. You don't even have to play with someone. It can be by yourself, like it was in that example here. So this guy was by himself. This is 180 off angle, mostly leaning towards the 180, while the rest of his team is doing something from there. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what you're looking for. More 180 off angles constantly. This is really, really far. You're waiting for the things to happen, and what's important, because you're not being proactive, your cooldowns are not being used in the fight, right? You need to force an enemy to go on, you burn the cooldowns, so you get better cooldown trade. Now you're just kind of waiting for the pressure to happen.
I think my mind is going into what if mode, but like say like I am like
Mm-hmm.
in the back line, like say like if I do go where the Reaper was at
Yep,
and like ends up like I end up losing the duel and
this is
I
good.
TP back
Mm-hmm.
to like say where the diva is at.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time I find myself like dying anyways, like no matter what, like even if I
Mm-hmm.
TP away, like
Right.
they see like a weakened Kiriko, I'm dead anyway, so
Yeah,
um
this is something you can solve over time. The dying, this is something you can solve over time. This is the easy part. The hardest part to solve is always how you make a play. How do you make a play, something happen on the map? This is the hardest part. Once you fix that, you can think about how to fix not dying. Maybe it's how you use cover. Maybe it's your cooldowns usage. But I think for you, you should really get comfortable with dying in this game as well, because a lot of times when you die, it's actually might be a good sign. A lot of times there are good deaths in Overwatch as well. If you die but you win the fight, this is good deaths. Overwatch is not about not dying, or like a support. It's not about not dying. It's actually about creating more value during the fight. So
right.
being more comfortable. If you go in and die, this is good. Treat it this way, that you learn from it and see what went wrong there, what you could be doing about your play better there. But first of all, you should be playmaking. And as a to set expectations, you do probably gonna die a lot once you're gonna do this 180 angle short to mid range, because first of all, this is a new habit. Second, this is you being more proactive and trying to do stuff on the map. But this is what you want to start with. The first step to building confidence here, making sure you do all of this, doing it slightly better over time, and then increasing the quality of it, so you're able to stay alive later. We'll talk about it later as well. It's mostly gonna be how to play with cover, yeah, how to use corners properly. Maybe it can also be, again, your ability usage, but we'll see. Mm-hmm.
Because I think like we talked about it a little bit last time is like I know some people think I'm just like trying to protect my KD, but I'm more like worried about like feeding than I am about like KD. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
um I think that's probably why I don't do like I'm like you can see the distance I'm in is because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like too passive about the feeding
Mm.
aspect. So
Mm-hmm. 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 So what's so what's bad about feeding?
Um, See, I don't know. I just know like it's a frustration. Like when I play with my friend, he's always like, "Stop feeding," or like getting feeding, and
Uh-huh.
I don't think I never understood like the bad aspect. I just know it's bad to feed.
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I see it's like even reportable if you're like feeding excessively. So
I mean, feeding, like in the reportable way, it has to be you constantly just not doing anything towards the enemy team, just standing still, sort of AFK. This is it. But the idea is, well, there are a lot of variables, such as your friends as well. You need to have a supporting environment. If you don't have an environment, maybe you need to solo queue as well. But the thing is, you need to make mistakes to get better. If you don't, if you do nothing, wait for the passive play, then you never improve because you don't try out stuff. You just wait for something to happen, and this is not good as a mindset of like trying to climb. And to solve this, the big part about it is your SWOT model, like the one I just mentioned. You can use that. And another thing about building confidence, I'm just gonna pull up this maybe this notes there. Yeah, whenever you build confidence, to actually be confident in something, you need to do that exact thing. If you're afraid of feeding, just go in and feed and see what's gonna happen. I just want you to read it, try to play one game and see what's gonna happen. If you're gonna try, and again, how do you perceive feeding? Yeah, it's just going on this backline trying to shoot the enemy, right? Well, just try this out for one game and see what's gonna happen. And mostly what most players come up with, nothing's really gonna happen. It's not like the world is gonna end, or like your true friends, they not gonna love you or something, right? It's just a game ultimately.
right.
And you need to experiment, you need to feel comfortable with doing all of this, really. So yeah, maybe another note would be just to feel more confident, do that exact thing, whatever you're afraid of. Mm-hmm. Does it make sense too?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think it's time to summarize. So let's see if what we got out of this today with you. What we learned so far.
Um, be more proactive in positioning
Hmm?
and apply pressure instead of waiting for the pressure to come to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with this one, really start one step at a time. Yeah, play a little bit more ranked. Start being more and more proactive. See what you can start with. Those two steps, as we mentioned, about the positioning. This is something good to start with. And actually, regarding that, what kind of positions you need to be taking to be more proactive as a carrier? What you should be looking for?
Um, just like the off angles, not really like so much on the back line, but maybe be like somewhere on the side.
Let's call it this because I use this term 180 angle. Try to take 180 off angle. It can be more than back. It's no strict rule such as you always gotta do that. But for example, here, if you have an opportunity, if my team is attacking from A, why not to set up at B and set up 180 angle? Or your Reaper was at this first point, your team was attacking the Su here at position A, why not to set up 180 position from B? This is what I want you to do more. Try this out, okay?
Okay.
And one more important note is your environment. You should have a supporting environment. If you don't feel the environment is not aligning with your goals or feeling like more confident, being more proactive, then I want you to rethink potentially who do you play with. Yeah, maybe it's not exactly your friends in terms of like maybe they constantly say you like you shouldn't do this, and they being a little bit more sometimes toxic towards you, towards what you do. Maybe you can think about playing somebody else with somebody else, or even solo queue would be better in this case.
Yeah.
Because you need to have a supportive environment whenever you're trying to apply certain stuff. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any final questions?
Uh, no.
Okay. Okay. If you don't have any questions, then for the